Oh, man. Are we seriously going to have this conversation? This came out of nowhere. It came out of nowhere until Paul Bissonnette on the Spit and Chicklets podcast went out there and spoke about it. But because they've got a platform, because the video that they posted on Twitter at the time of recording this audio is at 500,000 views, because a lot of people have gone out there and responded to it, we got to respond as well here on YouTube, on a channel that is unfortunately dying because of some of the latest changes to the YouTube algorithm. Things have been really bad lately, folks. I'm sure y'all have noticed it with some of the view counts of other YouTubers that you watch, but this channel has been hit pretty hard as well. I've talked about it in a few other videos, so you can check those out if you want to get more of an explanation. But long story short, if you have any support for this channel you want to give, a like or a comment, that is very, very much appreciated. I never ask y'all to do this, but now I kind of have to because my livelihood depends on it. Anyways, let's talk about some of the latest from the Rumor Boys, because Spit and Chicklets, they had themselves a segment on September 16th asking whether or not the Hughes brothers are uniting on the Rangers. Now, to help us out with the actual quote here, the clip sets itself up. Paul Bissonnette is being asked by Ryan Whitney on the show, give us your idea on where the Hughes brothers will play if they ever play together. Paul Bissonnette then goes out there and says this: I've heard rumblings that someone in the family wants them to be Rangers, New York Rangers. Depending on how the next year goes, maybe you could give it 2 years, I would assume that they just all end up and stay in New Jersey. I think it's inevitable, Bissonnette said. Biz then talks about the possibility of Jack and Luke potentially wanting to go to New York, and he talks about how the Jersey Devils would have leverage there if that was the case, like, oh, these superstar players want to go here. He doesn't see it happening, 100%, but he does say at the end he would bank on all of these guys ending up in New Jersey. That would be his guess. He then flips it back over to Ryan Whitney of the show and then asks him, where do you think all three of these guys will end up playing? And Whit kind of says the same thing. He could see it happening in New Jersey. He doesn't talk about the Rangers, though. Oh boy, that's a complete other discussion for another day. But it opens the floor up to more of this new wave NHL that we are starting to see. Because Biz says it on the show, on the episode, that now that we're starting to see the NHL kind of start to step into that NBA-esque territory where superstar players willingly, openly, and commonly express that they want to go elsewhere and they have no problems ditching whatever team they're on to do that. We saw that with Marner in Vegas. We saw that with a few other examples the past few years here. Big name players are not staying put as much as you might have expected in the modern NHL, and especially with some of these younger dudes, it could start to open up that precedence that maybe superstar player movement isn't that rare anymore. Not to say that Quinn and Jack and Luke are all, whenever NBA stars leave their teams, there are always some very harsh words tossed their way. I'm not gonna say that Quinn, Jack, and Luke are like defectors that have no respect for the teams that they're on. That's kind of hyperbolizing the nature of some superstar players leaving. They're not John Tavares being called snakes by Long Island long after he ends up leaving. But if it is some sort of a family thing, I don't know about that. Of course, Biz is just one insider out of many. Debate whether or not he is an insider, but he's more connected to the hockey world than I think I will ever be, personally. If somebody in the Hughes family is sort of whispering in their ear, hey, come to New York, play with the Rangers, I all of a sudden start thinking, wait a minute, does this not kind of reign true with some of all the other Rangers discourse that has been popping up over the past few decades? Anytime there's a big name guy, he always finds himself in the Rangers conversation. We just spoke about Kirill Kaprizov, and how that guy might apparently be interested in playing for New York. JT Miller was just named the captain a few days ago. You think Quinn Hughes would want to play on a team where he is now being captained by his former lackadaisical, back-checking, overly aggressive forward that would just give it over and over to Petey in the most degrading way possible? Like, I don't know, something about that feels so weird to me. Quinn was a really good captain. I say was. He is a really good captain. I'm sorry, not was. But he's a good leader. And just having the dynamic of last year's Vancouver Canucks locker room, how Miller and Pettersson were both problems and how the Canucks ultimately chose to keep one, and how Quinn had openly spoken out and said, yeah, I was Team Petey all the way. Like, I'm believing in Petey, that guy's my friend, he's a really good player, he's just going through it right now. And no distractions, the way he talked about Miller and the departure there, it's not like there was any positive, oh, I wish he was still here, kind of underneath the surface. It was like, yeah, no more distractions. That guy's gone. Now we can just focus on our team. It feels so weird, the idea that Quinn would decide to head over to New York, even with his brothers, to be captained under JT in 2030, whatever it is, whenever Jack Hughes' contract expires. I mean, the New Jersey connection is easier to make because Quinn does have the opportunity to head there in 2 years. But Jack and Luke, these guys, I mean, Jack's on the books for a while. Luke still needs a contract at the time of recording this audio. Who knows, maybe things will change by the time the video is uploaded on YouTube. But if the Rangers get their grubby paws on the three Hugheses, and they manage to keep together a good chunk of the people they have in their organization still, I mean, a power play unit of Hughes, Miller, and Adam Fox just sounds so... Okay, we don't need to do that. Why would you have 3 defensemen on 1 power play? No. Hughes, Miller, and Panarin. There you go. All Americans and a Russian dude. Huh. Hughes, Miller could be a power play unit at the Olympics. Okay, I gotta stop hypothesizing what that could actually look like. There's no reason for Jack Hughes to consider leaving New Jersey at this moment in time, too. Unless him and his brothers all decided to go on a pretty big tirade surveying every NHL team and seeing what fits and ultimately landing on New York, there's no reason for Jack to commit elsewhere. For the next 5 years, at least. He's very good. He's making only $8 million a year. We might be looking at this Jack Hughes contract in the same way we were looking at that Leon Draisaitl and Nathan MacKinnon contracts for years in the 2010s. Oh, how could MacKinnon only be making this amount of money? He's one of the best players in the league. How is Draisaitl only making 8.5? Jack's only making 8 right now. So... yeah, that's kind of the territory that he's at. He's a 90-point player. He can get 100 as long as he stays healthy. Luke, I do think, has a little bit more to show for. He is younger, of course, but I think the best days are well ahead of Luke Hughes in his career. Whatever he gets on the RFA negotiations is really going to dictate the projection as to how these 3 Hughes bros could potentially play together in the long-term future. If Luke only goes short-term, then all of a sudden, maybe there's a sort of alignment between Quinn and Luke's departure dates. If Luke goes long-term, then it's like, all right, well, Quinn kind of has the easy choice. Just leave Vancouver and go to New Jersey, at the very least till 2030. Then all those guys will be together. But to have them all displaced onto the New York Rangers, I mean, one really, really young defenseman, one top-of-the-league defenseman, and one near top-of-the-league center, it just seems like way too much of a tall task for the Rangers to ever even think about. Maybe one Hughes, but then again, it's like, why would you only get one if the other 2 are also going to be lumped in there? We know they all want to play together. Jim Rutherford spoke about that yesterday. It's not new information that these guys all desire to be on the same squad. But at least for now, we have to wait and see. So, New York, New Jersey, Vancouver even. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Where do you see the 3 Hughes brothers playing together, if not at an international tournament? Let me know in the comment section what you think. This YouTube channel is dying, so any likes, comments, whatevers, they are all very much appreciated to help us boost that darned algorithm after the changes that were put into place this summer. Let me know in the comments all your opinions about this Hughes shenanigans and the Paul Bissonnette commentary as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.